I'd like to call the Ayer Board of Health Monday, February 11th meeting to order. Public input, none. First on the agenda is the review of the Board of Health regulations continued from January 28th, 2019. Thank you. Okay.
Oh my gosh, as usual, you've brought it all back up for us.
Okay, Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of January 28, 2019.
Are we doing minutes?
I thought we would.
Oh,
I thought I'd get them
oh
out
I
of the
just
way.
thought we were going
Oh,
in.
I thought we were doing the...
I was just going to get them out of the way before we got them into a long conversation on anything else. If you don't want to, that's fine.
Did you get a
Matters
chance?
not to me.
Did you get a chance to look at them, Pam?
Yeah, because I looked at them.
Okay.
I looked at them online. So.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of other stuff. We have Joan, and I wanted to get it out of the way, and I know him wants to
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
go.
fine
Okay.
with it.
Okay. You need to call a vote.
Seconded?
Second. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I. A little out to lunch here tonight.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. That's that.
Okay.
All righty. So review of prohibiting smoke, review of the regulations, Board of Health regulations continued from
Does she?
the 28th.
Give this back to her.
So she can keep
She
it.
needs to
Yes,
keep
put it
on.
in the,
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we have the, your current regulation was passed in 2010 that says that you guys had passed one of that early on for outdoor public parks, because back then there wasn't as many towns. People that were doing municipal properties were people who had continued property problems with people smoking outside, migrating back in, or had a park that people were using a lot and people were smoking and it was bothering others, so we went forward and we passed that. There wasn't as many back in 2010, but now there's multiple communities that have addressed that. So the newest draft came out with the language at the end of 2015, beginning of 2016. So what we talked about at the last meeting that I was at was that, you know, we now upgraded all your regs to 21, and it includes the vaping. The new state law now incorporates you can't vape anywhere the smoke-free workplace law applies. So now we have your regulation that says you can't smoke in parks and municipal properties. Are we going to add vaping to that? And it was, you know, pretty easy to do. However, instead of just showing you that one thing that you can put in, of course, I have to show you the whole draft and other sections that you could consider. And if you want to, you can, and if you don't, that's no big deal. This is a much shorter reg, and it's not that big of an edit. But there's a few more definitions that we use in the regulations. And if you're gonna do certain things, some of those definitions would apply, and if you're not going to do certain things, they wouldn't. Now, if we wanted to just take your current reg, and the only thing we want to do is make sure you can't vape in the 3 places in addition to the state law that you regulate, which is smoking bars, retail stores, and you put all town-owned municipal property and municipal vehicles, then all we would have to do is add number 12, expand the smoking ban to include e-cigarettes in section 4D. So if you go to page 4, you would only be adding that in,
okay.
and then you only add the definition of e-cigarettes. And in e-cigarettes, the definition is very broad. If you go to the definition section, you'll see in blue, e-cigarette. So it includes basically any electronic device. It doesn't have to be the one that just looks like a cigarette. Any electronic device, the ones with a battery pack, the ones that look like a necklace, the vaping rings, the vaping bracelets, any electronic device that inhales and exhales regardless of nicotine content would be into your reg. Now, the couple of sections, that one I forgot to do was buffers around municipal zone and building entrances. You don't have that. You just said you're not going to smoke on municipal property. The smoke-free workplace law does not put, and we talked about this before, it does not put 10 feet, 5 feet, 4 feet, 25 feet, because it depends on the northerly side with the westerly wind and whatever or not. And you could have a building that has really good negative pressure, and you could have one that doesn't. So someone could smoke literally 2 feet from a window or door and it doesn't come in, or they could smoke 10 feet, 20 feet from and it comes in.
Right.
So the smoke-free workplace law is a little bit frustrating because people I want how many feet it needs to be. And the smoke-free workplace law says from a municipal building or property, anybody that's smoking any amount of feet where it migrates back into the building is in violation. So once you set 10 feet, 5 feet, 15 feet, you might find out, oh wow, we set it 10 feet away and it really needs to be 20. You're changing it all the time. Or, oh wow, for the town hall building, 10 feet's enough away, but we found out in the library if somebody's smoking in the outside doorway parking lot, it's 5 feet. So I would rather have it be, I ask my boards to stay away from the buffer, even though people love to have a certain amount of feet. So I should have highlighted it in blue because it's up to you to decide that. I feel like you have it in municipal buildings. We've been able to handle the problems we had back in 2010 with, the few I don't think it's necessary to add a buffer into your reg.
Right.
The other thing would be memberships associations. You guys have felt like you haven't had problems in the past with private clubs. I haven't received any private club complaints. You guys haven't received any that I know of because you would have called me. And what happens is lots of times some private clubs operate like public bars, and those are the ones we get the more complaints about. Or a lot of private clubs are part of pool leagues where people travel around, so a pool league comes in and it's a private club and all of a sudden everybody's smoking, but technically during the pool league hours no one's supposed to be smoking. I don't get those kinds of complaints in Ayer. I don't.
I only have one. But I don't think.
I was just to say, we didn't have that many clubs back in 2010, but like I said, I don't remember. One of the things that Leominster and Fitchburg did is they had multiple clubs, and what they decided to do is every year, until they went smoke-free, the club at the annual meeting had to allow the members to vote. And once they went smoke-free, they didn't have to do a membership vote anymore unless they wanted to make a motion to go back to smoking. And what ended up happening, and actually Gardner too, Leominster, Fitchburg, and Gardner, 90% of the clubs went smoke-free by this membership vote. So they did it without, if the private club had problems, I'd go in and talk to the membership and say, hey, we'd like to make some recommendations. When you're open to the public, you have to be smoke-free. But here's one of those things. I'm a private club. I'm going to rent for a baby shower. I'm going to rent for a wedding. You can smoke up until the baby shower starts, and then you can't smoke for the 2 hours of the baby shower. And then when the baby shower's over, you can go back to smoking again. We know the ETS exposure's there. If you're allergies, asthma, allergic, you're still going to be exposed because, so the private club is just that little thing that the state does, but my boards that have done it, and we've been very successful, have been boards that have had a lot of problems. Boards weren't regulating private clubs unless it was presented as a problem. I don't, I'm not all about just regulate to be in the top regulation. You don't have complaints, you don't have problems. For all we know, your club could be smoke-free and we don't even know it.
So for
by
us, is
membership
that
demand.
just the Rod and Gun?
That's the only club I know.
So there's no veterans, there's no Legion, no American Legion, no veterans, no Elks, no Grange, no.
There's
Rotary
but
Club.
they meet in other places.
Yeah, so they meet and they don't have their
They
own
don't
buildings.
know.
Right.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, at that point, I wouldn't,
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Air Gun Sportsman's is smoke-free.
It
It's been
is.
that way for.
excellent.
I remember when it wasn't.
Voted, and it is smoke-free.
Well, that is a game changer.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
I remember going in there and
Thank you.
smelling it, but thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes though, if somebody just smoked in their car and came in,
Yeah.
we have a public health employee that works in my office and they smoke at lunch and they come in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It smells like smoke, and no one's smoking in the health department. But,
Yeah.
but this one housing inspector. But
Yeah.
All right, good
So,
to know. So that's
that's a game
non-issue
changer.
here.
Yeah.
Can you put it in your regs? Because if the only club you have
Yeah.
is smoke
It's
free,
smoke-free.
we can talk. You can put it in the draft. I will go talk to them and say, we know that it was brought to our attention. You're smoke free, and they're not going to come to your public hearing and contest it. And then it will help if anybody opens a private club from this forward. Because the new thing now is a lot of the marijuana laws, people are trying to open up, they're trying to do it in Worcester and go through a loophole and open up smoking clubs, private smoking
Yeah.
clubs,
Right.
Yeah.
where you bring your own and you gather to smoke.
I've heard that about
Yeah,
Worcester.
so I was
Yes.
just thinking, that's a game changer. If you got a club that's already smoke-free and you don't have any other ones open at the
That's
time.
a good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is a
Let's-
good point.
Yeah,
Let's
and the
not-
first thing I would do is put it in the draft, if you set a public hearing date or an open written comment, I would deliver this draft rag to the private club so they could have input on it. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good thing that you were listening to that, because I wasn't 100% sure.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, I could serve, leading to, I could call the club and see, because for all we know, they're smoke-free, because more and more, because of how many towns have private clubs,
Yeah.
then it goes, hey, this Rotary's smoke-free, this Legion's smoke-free, we should do that too.
Yeah.
Neighboring
Yeah.
towns start talking, so.
Okay.
And then nursing homes, hotels, motels, and B&B rooms, that's just standard now, it's,
I know.
so it,
Yeah.
the hotel, you don't have a hotel, you don't have any nursing homes that are allowing smoking in the nursing home. It goes down into medical facilities, it just helps out if there's a local problem, we don't have to try to call the state and wait for them to come
Right.
out.
Right. Yeah.
It's vague, all you would do is go to section 4,
Yeah.
and you would go 1, 2, 3, and then you added, town-owned property, we'd go 4, nursing homes 5, hotels, motels, and B&B rooms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's
So it's
it.
easy enough to add.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other thing is outdoor restaurant and bar locations. Some towns have an outdoor ban because people have outdoor patios. And I remember at the time we were looking at your regs, we couldn't find anybody with an outdoor patio. I don't know now, in 2019, 9 years later, if anybody has an outdoor smoking patio. Because one of the problems is when you have an outdoor smoking patio, it's almost impossible to guarantee when a waiter comes in and out of the door that it's not migrating
Right.
back into the building.
Yeah.
So it's a real pain if somebody invests in the money to do an outdoor smoking patio and have a
Yeah.
service area, and then
Yeah.
we come in and go, oh, the smoke is migrating back and
Yeah.
forth,
I
and
don't think we have that somewhere. I know on Main Street, the sidewalks outside of a couple of the restaurants
Yeah.
have tables, but
But it's not specifically for.
but if
smoke.
they put them outside and they have an outdoor permit that's allowed by the town, they're not manager of that property, because the only place we don't regulate smoking is sidewalks. So they wouldn't really
They
apply.
wouldn't.
They would have to be in control
Oh,
of the,
interesting.
yeah, Jane?
yeah.
Yeah, there's an exception to that, and that is outside the billiards cafe upstairs.
Oh, yes, out
There's
the
like
back.
tables and chairs that are out on the back porch.
Oh.
And I wonder if people stand out there and smoke. I
The
think
the
they
difference would be, do they provide service? Do they allow people to take the food and drink outside? Do they have a waiter that waits on them? If they
Right.
have a waiter that waits on them, that's an outdoor serving patio. If it's just an area up there that people can go stand, then
I
it's not,
gotcha.
it's
No,
just,
it has tables and chairs, and I believe wait staff goes out, because I've sat out there.
right. Have you ever noticed if anybody was smoking?
Not with the patio. Before the patio was in, with tables and chairs, I think the smokers used to go out there and smoke
Right.
in the parking lot and stuff. I don't know if that applies.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something to consider. And then the other one was, we do this a lot now with public transportation, bus and taxi waiting areas, because in other towns, we've had problems at bus stops where
Yeah.
parents are smoking with the kids, waiting for the kids to get on the bus. So the bus stop at the time, that corner at the time, till the bus
Yeah.
gets there. So we're able to identify and work with parents on that without turning that into a big violation issue, like, hey, listen,
Yeah.
are you aware? And most parents will put their cigarette right away and they don't even realize it. But
Yeah.
the other thing is some places have bus and taxi stands. Some of my towns have,
We used to. We
yeah.
used to.
So,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things, if you used to but you don't, and you think the community could grow into having them, you might want to put it in. Some things that you don't have right now, no one's going to contest they're going to have a problem with it.
Right.
So you might want to put it in, because you always have to look, every community wants to grow and move forward. So,
What about the railroad waiting area? Is that railroad property, so it's a
I
whole
think
different
it is
thing?
the platform.
well,
where
it would
you
say,
Yeah.
if it's a railroad and it's public transportation,
Right.
if they're providing a public transportation service, their platform would be considered, we would notify them to post no smoking.
Because that we do have. We
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do have the railroad
Yeah.
thing there.
But it's public transportation, so if it's a public
Yeah.
train, it's a public, bus, it's a taxi, it's, yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Okay, good.
so these are the other sections, but I mean, it's been a big update. I could put in what you just want but with drafts, I always feel like put in the kitchen sink and let your community tell you what they,
Yeah.
the only thing I wouldn't, like I said, I don't want to regulate to not regulate, but there is benefits to putting it in.
The one advantage, I think, and I understand what you're saying about the, the buffer zone, that it's hard to hit on the right buffer zone. The thing that I like about a buffer zone is that you don't have to kind of like run the gauntlet.
Yes, to
walking
get in,
through.
yes,
Yeah,
I've done
through
that.
A cloud of smoke.
Yep.
So what if we make a buffer zone of like 50 feet?
Well, you could say, you have to kind of be realistic too, because
Yeah.
50 feet is in your
Yeah.
private property
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But, a lot of towns have just said, you know what? In reality, how many times have we had a smoking complaint of somebody smoking 25 feet away from a building? Or, or even
Yeah,
10 feet.
yeah.
So, but I would recommend
Yeah.
like at least, if you're gonna put a buffer, 15 feet away from doors and entryways. But then what happens is, what if somebody's far enough
Yeah.
away, it's not migrating in, but it's less than 15 feet? So, I've had towns put in 10, 15, and 25.
How far is 25 feet? Like from here
God,
to
I am
there,
the
maybe,
worst
to the,
person.
to the
I'm
car
not a
door,
good
is that
judge.
25
Yeah.
feet? Is
I'm
it
not-
to
I'm not-
that door?
I'm not a very good visual person. I
Be
feel
about
like,
that.
I know I'm 5 feet 4, so me laying down,
Yeah,
5
it's
times.
probably like the length
Yeah.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
about the
wanna
length
say
of
at
this
Yeah.
room.
yeah. But for the
Yeah.
most part, outside of somebody's window and door, you're looking at 5 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like,
And the vaping now,
yeah.
if you're going outside to vape, it dissipates so quickly. So you're not getting that
Well,
like
that's
a
true.
backdraft of
Yeah,
smoke
yeah,
following
that's
you in.
Yes.
Right, but you're now going to include electronic anywhere the smoke-free, well, not with the smoke-free workplace law, you would have a number 4 that puts it in, because the smoke-free workplace law now has been extended as of January 1st, that you can no longer vape anywhere the smoke-free workplace law applies. So in private companies,
Okay.
construction companies, DPWs, town buildings,
Oh.
realty offices, lawyer offices, nobody can vape inside any enclosed
Okay.
structure.
Okay.
So you're adding this to your regs so you can apply it to your municipal properties, your parks, and your other,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what your number 4 does. So I don't know if you wanted to take a look and look this over and read it, and then have me come back to your next meeting and answer any questions you have. And then we could set either a public hearing date or at least an open written comment period. I don't think if we hold a public hearing or an open written comment period, we're gonna get a ton of negative feedback on this. A lot of this stuff is standard and a lot of people are asking. A lot of people are concerned about vaping. Vaping is growing in epidemic proportions, and I have 4 elementary schools contacting me, asking me to help them write policies. Because they're catching like 3rd and 4th graders with vaping devices. So
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
am I the only one in the state? So I had to call DJ and Cheryl, and they're like, well, we know vaping is growing, but right now that's the first time we're getting school administrators from elementary schools asking for technical
Oh my
assistance on
God.
policies.
Oh, that's awful. Oh.
Yeah,
That's
2 are in
incredible.
Neshoba and 2
That's
are in,
incredible.
like the Fitchburg. My other, I have 2 halves. I have the
Right.
2 halves of the Central Mass. So, yeah.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to look at, I mean, how much more do we have to look at this?
So,
These 2 in the front, the buffer zone and the private,
I think the
Private.
private associations makes sense to include that.
Yeah.
So that I circle that as a yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And nursing homes,
Yeah.
kind of on the face of it, makes sense.
It's awful that we have to put it in there, but
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are still some problems across the state with
Yeah.
rest home and nursing home. But the work. It's funny because the workplace smoke-free law says that those people are supposed to be protected, but then there's some little something that it's their home, so there's some little exemption in the law that allows it under certain circumstances, so.
So they take them outside in the courtyard and they,
I've seen
Well, no,
this.
because that's outdoor smoking.
they,
So what it
I'm
is
telling you, they take
Yeah,
them out.
yeah,
there.
Yeah, no, they
I've
can,
seen
but
it.
but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about you can't smoke in nursing homes indoors.
Oh, we know
Because
that.
if somebody has a single
Yeah.
room, there's something in there that still allows them to smoke if they have a single room. So, but then you have the workplace law where, okay, now you have an attendant that may not want to go into
Oh,
the smoke.
right.
Yeah, so there's some little, there's something in the state law that gives an exemption to, under certain circumstances, to nursing homes. So now you can locally say, no, we're just not going to have anybody smoking.
So like our elderly housing, I don't know if they have a separate policy or
I used
whatever.
to
but-
smell it in there.
Yeah, well, when my Aunt Gladys was there, she smoked as far as I recall.
Yeah.
And
Anybody who's passed it, there's been no nursing home that's come forward and said that they advocate for allowing smoking.
But
So
this
I-
but
isn't
you're talking
nursing.
about-
This is-
yeah, this is like,
Senior
it's
housing.
senior,
Oh,
senior
senior
housing.
That's probably different there. It's not assisted living, it's not a facility, it's,
Right, but if it's HUD funded, they have to be smoke-free by,
well, then
they had to be smoke-free by this
Ah.
January, if it's
Oh,
HUD
okay.
funded. So there's your housing authorities, and then there's HUD funding, and then there's federal funding. So new laws went into place under,
Okay.
majority of those housing complexes now have to be smoke-free by a certain date. And then if there's a
Okay.
violation, then usually somebody will call me and say, my housing facility, elderly, high-rise, whatever, went smoke-free, and this
Yeah.
person B is still smoking, they're not doing anything about it, and then,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
try to give technical assistance on it, but,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got you.
all right, so those two at least.
Okay.
The buffer, and the
And-
private club.
and how about hotels, motels, BB rooms, bed and breakfast?
Do you have,
I would, I mean, we've got a couple of
Do we?
motels. I don't think we have any B&Bs.
Most are smoke-free on their own, so if you want me to see what you have and call and find out.
I think the Air Motor Inn, or whatever it's
Yeah.
called, the one by Shop and Save.
Yeah, is that one? And then is Casa Maris?
That one has such transient
It's not really a
population.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
more
that
like
this-
short-term.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Section 8 housing in there.
I think a
Yeah,
lot
that would
of
be too.
So there
yeah.
might be,
are there that smoke.
yes.
What's it called?
Casa Manor?
No, I'm talking about the.
Oh, the,
Well,
yeah.
there's
I mean,
both,
it's a-
there's
yeah.
both that you
Yeah.
wanna,
Yeah, you could probably.
So Casa Manor's on East Main
East Main.
Street, and then the Air Motor Inn is
And then there's a Zodiac.
on what, 2A?
Zodiac's
Zodiac's
apartments.
that's
Alright.
apartments, that
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
like what we're
I
talking
don't-
about.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah, these are like motels
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Right.
See,
hotels
yeah.
and stuff.
Do you want me to call them and see?
Yeah, you probably should, because I have a feeling.
If they're smoke-free, we'll throw them in.
No, they're not
They're not
smoke-free.
smoke-free.
I'll
Yeah,
tell
I
you,
think
they're
they're
not
not.
smoke-free.
I think they're
Yeah.
Okay.
not.
Those are the only two I can think of where I've seen it.
Well, I can call the management of Air Motor Inn in Casa Manor, CASA.
CAZA.
CAZA.
Or is it CZA?
No, it's.
No,
CAZA. Yeah.
CAZA. And I think those are the only two we have that I'm
Yeah.
aware of in
Right.
there.
Right.
Okay. All right, so.
Because we could, and we could find, certainly we should find out what they are, but if they do still allow smoking,
I have a feeling that they do. The
Yes,
population that I see.
I can tell you they
Yes,
do, because I
yeah.
know people there, they
the
do.
ones that can least afford cigarettes.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
So
still not,
Certainly. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
it's an addiction, you're right.
Yeah.
you're right.
Like I said, it's something, a lot of board regs just have it standard that pass CTS regs.
Yeah.
A lot of boards
Yeah.
did it, and the hotels complied, but that, again, when I'm looking at, our goals, obviously we want smoke-free environments, but I look at a hotel as a 1 night, 2 night, 3 night a week,
Yeah, yeah.
type of thing. If you're looking at limiting daily regular exposure, they're the lower hanging fruit.
Well,
So I wouldn't want
these
that
these
to
are
hold you up
not
from the other thing.
hotels per se,
Oh, yeah.
no.
Yeah, they tend not to be used as one night.
So is this, because there was a hotel in Leominster where the state gave vouchers, and there was like, I could never go rent a hotel room because people were there for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6
That's
months.
what we're talking.
There
Okay.
is, yeah, there's.
So
some
they
of that.
they were hotels that turned into really kind of subsidized housing.
Yeah,
Short term.
Yeah, short term.
yeah. I
Okay.
don't think it's all subsidized.
No,
I don't think it's
I
all
don't.
Section 8, but
No.
there's
There's a good
also,
amount.
yeah.
Yeah.
group
Well, I
that
can
are on
also,
their
we
own.
also have a state department that deals with all the housing, so I can ask, how do the transient hotels that get vouchers from the state, what's the requirements? There could be something in the law that says, if you're getting vouchers from the state to put people in there, you gotta be smoke-free. So let me,
Right.
Yeah, that might be
how about I
worth
do the research
looking
on
at.
it,
Yeah.
and you
That's
guys
a
make a
good
decision?
idea.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to do this overnight. I mean,
Right.
it isn't
No,
like,
no.
right now, it's in the middle of the winter, outdoor properties and parks aren't really being used. You
Yeah.
probably have a little bit more people in the cold smoking closer to your municipal buildings.
Yeah.
Because it's
yeah,
cold.
yeah.
So, I mean, I think, why don't I do the research on that, and,
Yeah.
Thank
and you could decide that by your next meeting. And then it gives you a chance to really read everything.
I like doing it for the public transportation, waiting areas too, because it's another one of those situations where right now we don't have bus or taxi.
Right.
We only have the train, so it's kind of a good,
So you have a train that takes people into the city?
Boston, I
Oh,
thought.
Yeah.
God, I guess.
So are you on the
Commuter
T
rail.
stop?
Yeah.
You're on the commuter
Yeah, we're on
rail.
the commuter
Yes.
rail. And the reason I wondered about that is that.
Because there's no smoking on the trains, so.
No.
Yeah, and Ayer has, over the years, of course, had a lot of interaction with the railroad for one reason or another. And this position seems to come up quite a bit on the railroad's part that, well, we're railroads, we're under federal guidelines and laws and regulations. So that would be a question
I'll
I
ask
think to ask
TJ.
too, is do we have any authority over a
Right.
railroad property?
To say that your bus stop has to be smoke-free.
That are commuter rail
Right,
stop,
so
yeah.
if we don't have jurisdiction over that, we could move forward with bus stops and taxi stands.
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll find out from DJ if we have, for you have a commuter rail stop, and you
Yeah.
would like that to be smoke-free. And one of the things is they might be in agreement to that, because they have to clean up all those decks anyway.
right,
Right.
that's a
So
good point,
if they
yeah.
could, and they would probably post their own signs, we don't have to worry about providing them with signs if we make it a policy, but, and I'm
That's a good
sure
point, yeah.
other towns might have already addressed this,
Right.
so I can get it,
That's true, yeah.
so let me
There's
see
a lot
what,
of-
let me get that, so I'll do the research on those two sections.
Littleton, Shirley, Fitch, those
Yeah,
are
what does
all
Shirley
Acton,
have?
all
They
towns
have that.
on our
Theirs
same
is
line.
pretty small.
Yeah, Shirley doesn't have an ETS reg. I think Littleton does a municipal property,
Okay.
but Shirley doesn't.
Because Littleton's
Acton's
is
on
pretty
the line.
significant setup over there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Littleton just came on board and did the 21, the flavor. They raised the age by December 30th, like
Great.
everybody else. They did
Yeah.
the flavor. They did
Yeah.
you guys have like almost identical regs.
Okay, great.
So,
Hmm.
and I was meeting with them tomorrow night, but not now. So.
No, you're not.
Where is that?
Littleton.
Littleton.
Yeah. So,
So what
Okay.
we're
so then the only other one was
saying-
if you want me to ask the Village Cafe, if you want me to just give them a call and say, hey,
Yeah.
listen,
Yes.
and it's not based on complaints. My guess is they don't, or we would have
Yeah.
had complaints.
Yeah.
Because if they have an outdoor dining, someone would have said, hey, I go out there, want to eat outdoors too, and I can't because there's smoke. I mean, over the years,
don't know
somebody
about
would have.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just a few tables, and it did start out as a smoking area,
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you could say no smoking out there without even adding it to here, because if there's a door right here and the patio's right here and people are smoking, it's almost gonna be impossible that it doesn't migrate back in.
Yeah.
So under the smoke-free workplace law, if they are actually serving people out there, it's probably in violation of the law, just the current law, state law, without even going into any local reg.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
we could
interesting.
find
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yep.
And what about the people who work in the restaurants? Because they go out and have a cigarette break. I mean, a lot of them smoke.
Right, but they can, as long as they're smoking where it doesn't migrate back in through a door, window, or vent. So my guess is I've never ever been able to see a serving patio that could meet that requirement where it didn't go back into the door. Because they're
Yeah.
not far enough away from the building. The way it just
Yeah.
comes out, you know,
Yeah, and
holding
you
her
go in
tray,
and out, yeah.
serving the food, coming, and people coming in and out to go to the restroom. So
Yeah.
on an outdoor patio, the amount of times
Right.
the door is open and closed, we've never had one that's been able to prove that the smoke wasn't going back in. So,
So if that's a workplace lot, can a patron make a complaint about it?
Yes.
Or this doesn't have to be an employer-employee situation?
no, okay, 90% of the time an employee gets fired and then tells us about something, and 99% of the time it
Oh,
was happening.
okay, yeah,
But we
yeah.
have had patrons complain. I know
Okay.
one place was in Leominster, Buffalo Wild Bills, that was in the shopper, Buffalo Wings.
Mm-hmm.
They built an outdoor patio, and customers were complaining, like, hey, we want to enjoy this outdoor patio, and people are smoking up a storm.
Okay, yeah.
So it doesn't have to be an employee. We had patrons complain about
Okay,
it. So,
okay.
and it was a violation of the law. And then after that, the city added to their municipal
Yeah,
reg, no
yeah.
outdoor patio smoking. Service patio. So if somebody has an outdoor
Right,
side
right.
patio, not patio, but an outside area, and they throw a couple chairs down, and that's going to be their smoking area, that's fine as long as it doesn't migrate back into the building.
So that's this item 10, right? The
Yeah,
outdoor
and it's
restaurant
not just,
application.
it's migration is window or vent. It's not just the entryway door. So.
Yeah, it's any way it gets in. right?
I'm wondering, I'm not trying to stir up trouble. I'm wondering if Carlin's is still,
Yeah, I was thinking of that too.
because I know David Berry he worked so hard to make it family-friendly, a
Yeah.
pub, grill kind of place. I haven't been in, but I've seen pictures, it's beautiful. He used to have that fenced-in area
Yeah,
out back with
Yeah.
the commuter rail line where, and
Mhm.
that's where the kids would go and they would all smoke out there. And it
That's
was a smoking
right.
area, but now I think it's been, I think he has tables and chairs out there and I'm wondering if it's the same thing.
I can call them both, and I could stop in, see the layout before the next meeting. But do you meet every 2 weeks or every month?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, I could try to
Well, twice a month.
stop in and just say, I mean, if there's a lot of pushback, let's go with the things that we know are solid. Or you could hold a public hearing and
Yeah.
decide to keep them in or take them out. That's,
yeah. I think Highlands is the one that would be probably the most affected by that. Well, and then as you brought up that little area at Billiards, but I'm thinking of the other restaurants in town. At Lucia's, they'll have sometimes some tables out.
Out on the sidewalk.
Yeah, out on the
That's-
sidewalk,
yeah, I don't
but
think
that's,
it's smoke.
that's
Yeah.
a sidewalk.
Right. because if somebody's smoking in the sidewalk and it migrates into the front door of a business, that's not a violation,
But with
Oh, interesting.
Carlin's,
because we don't regulate sidewalks.
it wasn't a service area. It used to
Yeah.
be just a smoking area,
Right.
but now I think
But
he's
now I
serving
think
food
there,
out there.
yeah, I think there are like tables and chairs and
So,
looks like, appears to be set up
Right.
as a service area. But I think those are the two that would
Right. I could do a little research and
be
All right.
affected.
Just say, smoking and vaping, we're looking at updating the reg. And the one thing that's different, when we do a youth access reg, we know exactly what business owner needs to know the information. With a smoke-free reg, it's kind of like harder because you don't know
Yeah.
what businesses,
mhm.
when you're doing it, what businesses it affects.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
But, like we found out, great, the private club's already smoke-free.
Yes.
We're in
Well,
good
that's
shape.
funny because I've gone up there to their clam bakes and outside, I think everybody is smoking.
Right, but when you do a private club, it would be no smoking inside.
just inside.
And the same thing would apply. You can smoke outside as long as it doesn't migrate back into the building.
Except that you're all sitting there
At the
eating in
picnic
there.
table.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
again, it's
Yeah.
different because it's not like they're holding the dinner on your public park. If they're holding the dinner on your
Yeah.
public park, then it's a smoke-free.
Yeah.
Speaking of clam bakes, how do things like churches fall, like St. Mary's is a clam bake every year? And is it,
They have to be smoke-free indoors, but if they hold an outdoor clam bake, they can have smoke.
okay, but this applies, there isn't like a special exemption for,
No, because a church is, it's not a public place. It's not a municipally operated public place. So,
yeah,
you're
okay,
not.
yeah. All right, that makes sense.
I do have to be honest. I've never heard of a smoking church. Like, Like, churches have
Smoking
never, like, there's no policy that says you can't smoke in church, but I have
Yeah,
never heard of a smoking church.
Oh, no, they have stuff outdoors.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
Yeah.
like they do a nice clam bake every year.
Down under.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think anyone's ever lit up inside.
Yeah, in a
So,
church though, they can't under the smoke-free workplace law,
Yeah.
because they're not
Yeah.
a private club.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
nonprofit, but they're not a private club, so they have to be smoke-free in all their enclosed space.
But the incense will get you
Yeah.
anyway, so.
No kidding. All right, so we're gonna put you back on the agenda when? We'll give you, we'll
Well, let me-
review this too.
Let me see.
Yeah, let's get your schedule too.
Our next meeting is on the 25th, I believe.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
does that
February
give you enough time, Joan?
Probably not, because I'm so busy
No,
right
don't.
now.
They
But
don't. I mean, it's an ongoing,
right, and I'm gone on vacation March 1st to March 6th, Friday to that Wednesday.
That's okay, because we're the second and
So
fourth
you-
Mondays, so the
So
11th
if you-
would be our first.
If you put me on the 11th, I can be prepared.
Okay.
March.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then that would put you, well, the only other thing is, if I can do it in 2 weeks and come and get everything, get the research information, and you could decide, and you could say yes, no, to get the draft you want, you could hold your hearing on the 25th.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what will happen is it'd be nice to hold your hearing on the 25th, and then you could do, like a May 1st
May
date.
1st effective.
Because
yeah.
if you hold you want to give them at least a month notice, so that way May is when all of a sudden people start coming out, it starts getting
Yeah,
warmer.
yeah.
So
yeah.
I'd rather try to get it. Why don't you put me on? And if for some reason I can't do it, I'll let you know. But why don't you put me on to come back with the research sections, those 3 sections. I'm going to research hotels, motels,
Yep.
the commuter rail, and then the outdoor patios, right?
So three, was it
Yes.
3, 7, 9, 10, and 11?
The buffer zone, you can just tell me, what do you want for a buffer zone? There's no research there. We can put 10, 15 feet. in
What's
the-
reasonable?
I would do at least 15. You said you've got some that are
I have 10,
as
15,
far
and
as-
25.
25.
Yeah.
25 is reasonable, right?
Mary, what do you think is reasonable?
Well, we have people that stand right out here and smoke.
Yeah.
Right, because right now, we just have no on the property the minute they hit the sidewalk.
No, I'm talking about they
Yeah,
stand
they're-
right out here by the big
No,
sign
that-
and
if
smoke.
that we
Yeah.
can cite them for. We can
Yeah.
cite them for that, because
That
your
shouldn't
reg says you can't smoke
Correct.
Right.
on municipal property, so we
Right,
can cite
so
them for
what
that.
do we think is a reasonable?
We can send them letters.
Oh, 15.
15?
Yeah.
15
Okay.
there?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Okay.
All right.
And then, so I'm gonna be researching, just checking with the 2 hotels and looking with DJ Wilson
They're
about.
really not hotels.
Well, I know.
So
but
number
motels,
7?
Motels,
Yeah.
hotels, or
Yeah.
housing, not housing.
7,
but-
9, 10, and 11. That's what I circled. Is that
Okay,
what
so,
you-
the private clubs you already agreed on.
Yeah.
Right, so
gonna
we're
do
not-
that.
So I'm, 9, 11, and in terms of 11, I'm just gonna get the commuter rails, make sure that we that we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
jurisdiction over the commuter rail.
And
Yeah.
10 is those
And-
3 places that we,
10, yep, so
Yeah.
9, 10, and 11.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, I will have that information, you can make your decision on the drafts,
And then 12 we want to do also, right? The e-cigarettes.
12 is what you initially asked me to put in
Yes,
for you,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's a definite,
Yeah,
that would
that's
be in the
yes,
draft.
yeah.
And again, these aren't commitments to pass anything, these are your draft that you're gonna
Yep.
Yep.
do the comment period, a
Okay.
public hearing, and throw out to the public, and wait to see what information
Yeah.
comes in to make your final decision. So there's no commitment
Okay.
to anything, it's
So
just.
all the changes get added here.
Yeah.
They all get added.
Yeah,
as-
and there's a couple new definitions that would be added.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
other
a
than
couple
the-
definitions that would be
Okay.
added.
Good.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
And then I can work on that for you, and then if I can come back on the 25th, and then we could, that gives us, I mean, theoretically, you could hold a hearing 2 weeks later, but, it would give us the month of March to hold the hearing and then pass something effective.
Well, I think what we had decided too, when we were first talking about reviewing regulations, if we're just making minor changes in some of them, that we might have 2 public hearings on the same night and just get them out of the way. Because once you get into April, we have town elections,
Right.
and then May, it's busy, and then by June, everybody's off on vacation, so now you're talking going into the fall before you're gonna get anything
Yeah.
done.
A lot of boards are passing, like, they would make, say you made a decision tonight, this is what I want in my draft. They would legally post a written comment period to your next meeting, and then if you've got written comments, you
Yeah.
reviewed them. So a lot of boards, unless it on the, not, like, you couldn't do that for flavor or raising the age to 21.
Right.
You really kind of needed a hearing, but I had 16 boards and 11 of them did written comment periods. They didn't do hearings on raising the age to 21. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
written comment periods are becoming more popular
yeah.
as well, so the board reads it out loud and
Yeah.
if there's any input, so. And we've had almost zero presence or people showing up or anybody even coming. Most boards are, like, if you held the hearing, we put it in the paper, held a hearing or written comment period, and you on the 25th, you look at everything and there's nothing there
Yeah.
that needs further consideration, you can close the open comment period and move to
Yeah.
vote that
yeah,
night.
Yeah.
That's becoming more and more common now because this is just all common practice.
Okay. Jean?
Okay.
And
Joan, how, the written comment period, do we have to have a bylaw that allows us to do that, or can we do that in place of public hearing?
There is absolutely no requirement at all to hold a public hearing on any tobacco issue. Right now, you could say, Joan, I love this idea, let's pass it. We have never done that. We have gone the extra, I've been involved since 1994, and I would never recommend a board not to consider public input.
so then why don't we
The
just
hearings
do
are
that?
The hearings are a courtesy.
Correct.
And we work real hard to get input because we want accepted policies and we want compliance and we want
Yeah.
cooperation. So, you know, it's public friendly and board friendly to get the input of from people who these policies affect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but there's no requirement, and you don't even have to. You only have to advertise once in the paper. If you're gonna have a hearing, you're gonna have to advertise once in the paper, but you don't even have to have a hearing. And when I hand deliver everything, everybody signs they receive it, we have everybody read everything, that's an extended courtesy that, you know, was just a plan I came up with early on, so no one could say, I didn't know, I wasn't part of it.
Yeah.
You know, they pulled the rug out from underneath me, that type of thing.
All right.
And this covers us for marijuana as well, right? Because under smoking is
Under
talking about
smoking is,
non-tobacco?
yes.
Okay.
We are not going to be regulating marijuana, but anything that can be inhaled, exhaled, regardless of nicotine content, and smoking, anybody who has a smoking policy in place, it does apply to, they want to roll up Italian spices and smoke it.
Yeah, yeah.
It applies to
Yeah.
anything that inhales and exhales.
What about inhalers for asthma? and things
No,
like
it exempts anything that's can be prescribed or approved by the FDA. So, yeah, so no, it's not.
Oh, yeah, I
No
meant to,
inhalers.
that's right, I meant to ask you about this because this not approved by the FDA. The FDA is supposedly going to start approving some of these things as either nicotine delivery devices.
Where are you now?
Or,
Second page.
It's under the definition for e-cigarette.
It has to be approved by the FDA, not approved by the FDA as a, wait a minute, let me see.
Because this one looks to me like if FDA approves it,
I'll ask DJ that, but the FDA just came down hard on Juul.
They
And they're
did.
coming down hard on anybody, so they're not gonna be approving devices. And they already said that there is no vaping device or nicotine delivery device that's approved for,
that's right, for smoking.
for cessation.
Cessation. But
Only-
somebody is gonna submit on that to FDA. I'm sure. Somebody is gonna submit it. Probably Juul and these companies that really wanna make that claim are gathering up their data now.
well, they already
So-
did, and they already did, and twice the FDA shot it down and said these are not cessation devices. They've approved
Yeah.
nicotine patches, Nicorette gum,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
it.
Geez, I guess I mean, if we have to, for some legal reason, tie it to an FDA approval, then I would leave it in, but it kind of seems to me like if we don't have to tie it to an FDA approval, then why do that? Because then if somebody does get one through the FDA, why just because it's FDA approved do we have to?
Well, that's just like
use
right
it.
now, marijuana is approved, but in housing situations, it doesn't mean you're allowed to smoke it if the landlord has a no smoking policy. It means you could go get it in an edible or a different form.
Yeah.
And even tenants with medical marijuana card, the landlords could say you can't smoke it if they have a no smoking policy because of the secondhand
that's
smoke
right.
affecting
I remember
others.
that.
They
Yeah,
can, but they
yeah.
can't stop. They can
Words.
say you can go get it in your brownie. You can go get it in an edible
Right,
form.
yeah,
You could go get it
yeah.
in the oil form or whatever. So
Okay.
So I'm gonna double check the e-cigarette and
Okay.
see. This DJ sent me an upgraded thing and I was merging them. So I want to make sure that that's
Sure, that makes sense.
okay.
Okay,
And to my knowledge, the FDA has not approved any type of
No.
electronic device.
No, they haven't. They've
Okay, but you
issued
never
some
know.
guidance on doing it, and it's such big money, I'm sure.
Yeah, did you see the guy who, he had a battery pack one and it
Yes.
exploded?
yeah.
And he
Yes.
died?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Hawaii is now wanting to raise the age for 5 years to 30 and then prohibit the sales of tobacco on the state of Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah, so I wanted
Interesting.
DJ and Cheryl to take a flight out with me to Hawaii so we could teach them
Oh, yeah.
lessons learned on what happened in Westminster.
You
but
definitely have to
We
invest
have not
in it,
gotten
yeah.
state approval for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so.
So can we have that discussion about the role in the enforcing of the anti-smoking and vaping? What have you found so far as far as towns, the boards of health in other towns and their school systems?
Well,
Is there discussion or?
Well, some towns have issued, have made school personnel designated agents to issue Board of Health tickets on smoking on school property violations. And I've done that in probably nine schools that I'm doing that in, and we've been doing that with cigarettes. But now vaping is exploding, that there's not enough resources. There's nothing in the funding that allows us to be in the school that much to help them that much. So what I'm doing now is I'm working with schools and helping them write their policies so they can legally confiscate vape and consider vape. They're using the definition of tobacco, so now when they see vaping, it's treated the same thing as if they found a kid with a pack of cigarettes. I've been contacted by Jennifer, the SRO officer for Ayer. She sent me the Ayer's policy.
Oh, Jen
Jen
Bigelow.
Bigelow.
Oh, Jen, I'm sorry, yeah,
Yeah, Jen Bigelow, yeah.
And I told her I was coming tonight, and I CC'd to
Yeah.
a memo that I had
Yeah.
written her. And, you know, she sent me the policy, and I'm looking at the policy, so I'm gonna help them get the language right for the school. But now the smoke-free workplace law has said vape, you can't vape either, so schools can issue tickets under their authority
yeah,
Oh,
right,
good.
using the
right.
smoke-free workplace law. What
Yeah.
happens though is a school isn't gonna be able to follow through in court. They're not gonna be able to take a school administrator to start going to court on vaping tickets. What we learned with smoking tickets is schools with huge smoking problems, the first 1 or 2 tickets that kids were found responsible for helped eliminate the problem. So we're hoping that that will happen with vape. Groton has some really innovative techniques in dealing with vaping. Schools are running into problems with time learning with the state because, you know, if you're suspending kids left and right for
Yeah.
vaping,
Oh,
you're-
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's affecting time learning. And if you
Yeah.
don't have if you have kids with excessive absences out of school for suspensions, it affects your federal
Right.
funding.
Right.
So there's programs that are moving to Saturday suspensions, and there's a free program, there's a couple paid programs. So you can't give treatment as punishment; it would never work. So tobacco education, so they'd have to go to a Saturday school, and then they go online and they do these interactive things that teaches them about what you're really doing to your body, and then you do one chapter, take a test, do another chapter, take a test. So I'm sharing all these things with everybody because in reality, I could turn into a full-time vaping officer for schools only,
Oh,
and then
my
hire
goodness.
two full,
Yes.
it's a 3-person
Yeah.
full-time job.
Yeah.
So, she was interested in the tickets, but now, it was on Channel 5 News the other day, like looking into possible grant money and the cost of putting in, they have vaping sensors, somebody invented a vaping
Yeah,
sensor that's sensitive
I
to
saw
vaping
that.
centers, and it's not as expensive as you would think, so, but then again, kids can go up and mess with them, you know, but that's why they have to be
Yeah.
hardwired in, or
Yep.
because they can't be
Yeah,
battery
yeah,
operated and
yeah.
things like that, so like creating them, making it more uncomfortable and less easy
Yeah.
for the kids
Yeah.
to do this, so there could be ticketing down the line, you could designate the school agents to write the tickets. How it works now, and you know, like I'm in Quabbin High School, I've worked with North Middlesex.
Yep.
They have a ticketing system. I've been contacted by Townsend principal, now Ayer and Shirley. So I'm running around helping everybody.
Does Ayer
write
have a
policies.
ticketing system in place now?
We-
What were what was the information that Jen got back to you with? as
She
far
just,
as-
they have a thing for tobacco. They don't have
That's it,
vaping language in
okay.
there, so I'm gonna help her put the right language
Oh,
in
okay.
there. So they can, whatever their policy is, but a lot of it, people wanna get away from suspension right now. Because
Yeah.
right now, vaping I have every school and every community concerned about vaping. I have parents crawling out of the woodworks about vaping, because now they understand that vaping means any drug that's liquefied can be in there. Your kid could be vaping
Right.
THC,
Right.
or liquid nicotine, or watercolor vape.
Yeah,
Vape. You don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
what's in there,
Yeah.
or worse, because any drug you can
Yeah.
liquefy,
Yeah.
and some of
Yep.
those opiates can be liquefied. So
Yeah.
now it's like, and parents aren't able to identify the ring, the bracelet, and the things like that. So we're working on, I could bring Tina in, Tina Grozowski, the community partnership woman from Worcester. She can come in and do a presentation to the parents. I can do a presentation to the teachers and administrators on the policy piece, enforcement piece. These are information and pieces I put together, what might work for your school, here's some suggestions.
Yeah.
But I have to be more on a technical advisor, and then if a ticket really isn't resolved, I can go to court for them.
That would be a good
Okay.
But I teach them how to write the tickets and how to follow through on them.
presentation.
For what?
If Joan did a presentation on that in conjunction with the schools, that would be a great APAC
Yeah. I
video.
tried, just through the chairman to the board, just so you know, I contacted the schools twice. I talked to Michelle Towns, who is Dr. Malone's secretary, and I invited them to come and participate in this conversation today. So I just wanted to let you know that they were invited.
I'm
Okay.
glad to hear that Jen Bigelow is.
Yes.
Jen
in touch
has,
with you.
Jen has reached out to me and has emailed back and forth to me since mid-December. So, and I've had several.
Good.
She's a
so
good
she's-
person.
She's looking to really, work and move on some of this. So
Great.
even raising the visibility, talking to the parents, talking to the students, telling them we're moving to a ticketing system, that we're trying to get into
Yeah.
place.
Right.
What the ticketing system means.
So it would be in their handbook, I'm sure.
Right, but they would
at
write
high
it under the
school.
smoke-free workplace law rather than the Board of Health regulation.
Right.
But the Board of Health
Yeah.
regulation adopts the smoke-free workplace law, so it could be written out of both. I don't want to
Yeah.
make the commitment if I can't really follow through.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, I could end up,
Exactly.
my supervisor said, do you realize, Joan, right now you're helping 9 schools write policies, and if they all write it through the Board of Health, and they expect any unresolved ticket to be handled by you, you could be doing 10 tickets a week
Oh my
in
Yeah,
multiple
I
different
know.
court at
I know
least.
it. I know
But
it.
I said, I believe that in the beginning, but I don't believe it once you find them responsible. The kids, parents get, well, what, you charge my kid $100? Or,
Yeah.
oh, now,
Yeah.
now my kid can't play a sport because we owe the school still $100.
Right,
So we've asked to make them want to pay that. You have to put
Yeah.
things in
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
If you have funds owed, you can't move on to your next semester.
Yeah.
School
That's-
activities, you can't go to the school dance till you pay for your basketball uniform that you didn't
Yeah,
turn in.
right,
So
right,
that's how you get
right.
the ticket paid. So.
And they have to set that up through the school ticketing system.
Right
correct?
now,
Because-
my towns that do it through the Board of Health. So it's a Board of Health ticket or a Board of Health violation letter that the school issues, and then they would give it to us, whenever they write it.
But
So
it's
I
not
can track
under-
the 21 days.
It's
But it
not
gets,
under this, is it? Because under this, it looks like we could only write the ticket to the school, not to the student. It's the.
No, the smoke-free owner, manager, control of the vehicle or vessel each calendar day. Yeah, this is based on, Yeah, because usually what it is the manager gets the 1, 2, 300. The person actually smoking would get the 100, 100, 100, because the smoke-free workplace law only allows you to penalize the smoker $100, so there's no incremental fine.
So do
So-
we need to put something in here so that we can,
Yeah, it would be, or person in control of the building, vehicle, or vessels, yeah. So you guys put it all on the managers of your town buildings, so you don't have directors and bosses saying, I don't care if my employees smoke. But yeah, we would put in there, there would be one more line that would say, any owner, manager, whatever would be this, and then this one would say, any person smoking would be $100 as in
Yeah.
conjunction with the smoke-free law. So
yeah,
let me write that.
yeah, that would be good, because then you're able to write it against people who are smoking at the beach, or, you know, the town
Right,
ballpark.
but,
and the
hi, I'm the
school.
tobacco control agent, what's your name? Jane Smith, what are you gonna do about it? John Doe, what are you gonna
Yeah.
do? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I know,
it's hard to
I
do
know,
it without
I
a
know.
police escort to come with us when it's
Yeah.
a beach.
Yeah.
But it's easy to do it in school because everybody knows who the parents, because
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
isn't a
that's true.
policy to the
Yeah.
students.
Yeah,
If the school adopts a ticketing policy, it's to the janitor, the teacher that snuck it, or the
Uh-huh,
parent
yeah,
that's
yeah.
in the corner at the game.
Yeah,
It has, it's a policy, and then we tell the kids, this isn't for you, it's for anybody.
right,
But
yeah.
our tickets are always written to kids, so.
All right.
Okay, so let me just write that on there. Okay, so, fine for violator, not just,
Yeah, because I'm thinking, even if, you know, let's say, just thinking it through, if you can't resolve the smoking outside the door here, who are we going to find? The selectman?
Right?
Robert?
right, right,
Yeah, we have to be able to go after the.
All
right.
right.
Okay,
Great.
Jane, I mean, well,
Joan?
Joan, okay, Joan, Jan. Thank you so much. Every time you come, we learn so much. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just so
And
much.
you know your stuff
Yeah,
so
you
well.
do. And
You know, I started this hoping to put myself out of a job in 1994, but I mean, that's the goal. The goal is that the day will come, I'm not needed, that we've reduced smoking and tobacco use enough.
I know.
But it's whack-a-mole. Now,
Yeah,
we were really significantly impacting teenagers using cigarettes. And then they came up with
And then
the
the
flavored
vaping.
cigars. We cut the flavored cigars down, and now this vaping has
Boom.
just leaps and bounds. And
Right.
a fraction of the time it took to get kids addicted to the flavored
Yeah.
cigars. The
Yeah.
vaping is just out of control. Because schools are telling me it's the AP kids to the special needs kids to the band kids to the athletes to the drama
Wow.
club.
No, it's
That
not
there,
just-
and it's just as many girls as it is boys, and it's not a social economical thing.
Right.
It's, you know, all,
yeah, it's pretty.
Doesn't
you know,
matter.
your straight
Yeah.
A student who's never had a detention is vaping. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it is. And we're hearing that across the
Yeah.
state, not just in our region.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much,
Forward to
Joe.
seeing you
Thank
soon.
you.
I feel like I'm addicted to tobacco control.
You could do worse.
Yeah.
Really?
Thank
Okay. How do you all feel about, instead of moving on to your, the aquifer, to talk about the solid waste, since we have
Sure.
here? I don't want to waste anybody's time, and
Absolutely.
don't get a lot of people at our meetings, so I think
No.
we should move on to the review
No,
of the
it's
solid
fine,
waste. Yep.
absolutely.
Okay. Let's see.
So, what have we got? Here we go.
Private hauler rates.
Would we like Lori to come up?
I was just gonna
Yes,
say she
please
should,
come up,
so.
Lori.
I can't stay too long. I have to.
I'm sorry it took,
No,
took
that
that
was
long.
a really interesting discussion.
Yes,
so-
she's great.
She is.
All right.
I'm straight out here. That's the stuff.
And
Okay.
smoking. All right. So, Lori, are from,
The recycling committee.
The
I'm the chair
recycling
of the recycling committee.
yes. And we're reviewing the solid waste hauler regulations that were adopted May 18th, 2015. And do you want to tell us why, or what you have for information, or what you want to offer tonight of this?
I gave you,
Yep.
she sent me some handouts. and I
Yeah.
gave it to you.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to discuss, and they may get into a lot more time than anybody has allotted for tonight's meeting. I totally understand that. From the recycling committee's point of view, we would love to increase the amount of recycling that's going on in town, knowing full well that we don't really have control over that. It's a cooperative effort of you and the DPW, and maybe even other parts of town government that I'm not aware of at this point. The Mass DEP has a grant that we have been taking advantage of for several years now, that we being the DPW and the recycling committee, and certain requirements of it, which our current hauler regulations are not fulfilling, would allow us to receive a little bit more money. To the tune of roughly maybe $1,300 or so per year. And that's a significant chunk of change. But the hurdle there is, as for those of you that were able to see the wording that Mass DEP requires, it means that the regulations would have to be rewritten. Yeah, that's a bit, well, not from scratch, most likely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of boilerplate text for this kind of stuff. But the gist would be dramatically different, because you, the Board of Health, would be requiring recycling in single-family houses and primarily single-family houses. And that would make things look a lot different than what they do now. Right now, the residents who have their trash and recycling, if they have recycling as part of that picked up are about half the number of residents, households, I believe, in town, give or take. Don't quote my numbers on that. So it would be a big deal. I don't deny that at all. So that's primarily what I'm coming to talk about. But there's another thing that I want to draw your attention to in the current regulations, and you may already, maybe it's not so much draw your attention, maybe it's ask a question about. There's something that to me sounds contradictory in two different items. So maybe if you just explained it to me, I would understand it, and there's something that's preventing my brain from understanding it. So if you could take a look on page 2, 4.4, fourth line down, we're providing customers with the option of recycling. And that word means, literally, you can do it if you want to, or if the hauler provides it, and if not, so be it. So that's 4.4,
Yep,
fourth line down.
Yeah,
where it says option.
You got
Yep.
it, yeah.
yeah.
If you take a look at page 4, under section 6, 6.1, and then go down to the 7th bullet, the one that starts with written educational materials, to notify residents that recycling is required.
Ah,
So I'm confused about option,
And required.
yeah,
Okay.
Ah,
I think I can address that.
okay.
So what we were saying in 4.4 was that the waste haulers must provide all of their customers with the ability to recycle. So if you're going to be a waste hauler, trash hauler in the town of Ayer, you have to make recycling available through
Okay.
a bin or something. It's an option because we stopped short of making this mandatory on the resident. So
Oh, so
the trash hauler has to provide the ability.
But the resident doesn't have to take them up on that ability.
Exactly. Now, the other part that you referred to, though, does apply that these things that are covered by the waste bans, which I think is in, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to just take this to town. This is all
no, are you
through the
kidding
chair.
me? No, absolutely, you have the history.
I did a lot of
worked on
the
this a
writing
lot.
of this,
I don't
yeah.
have it.
So what we were trying to get at in this one, the bullet under 6.1, is that you can't put certain materials
Right.
that are banned, you absolutely have to recycle. So that's not optional. You have to follow the Mass DEP requirements for mandatory recycling of certain items.
So in 6.1, then so 6.1 means that residents have to be provided, does 6.1 mean that residents have to be provided, those who have their trash picked up, with the proper tools, equipment to recycle the stuff that's in the waste bans? Is that,
That's a really good question.
am I splitting hairs? Maybe I am.
No,
but
no, you're
I'm all about
actually-
the hair splitting.
It's a really good question, because like you're saying, for example, like let's take batteries that contain lead. Do they need some kind of separate, do they have to be in a separate container to
Right.
identify them as a battery containing lead? I don't know. That's a good question.
Or leaves and yard waste, that's another waste ban item.
Right. That,
They don't do leaves.
No.
Yeah,
that's
most, because I have waste management, and I know.
yeah, they don't do that.
Waste management is not gonna take a
Compost,
tire,
yeah.
and they're not gonna take that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah.
I think the individual haulers have like lists of stuff that they just won't take unless you are going to make some arrangement above and beyond your standard household
Well,
trash.
right above it, it says a copy of all information to be provided to customers, including a description of acceptable
Yeah.
solid waste, any
Yeah.
special
Mhm.
bagging, bundling, a list of what can be recycled in any recyclable material, segregation.
Oh, that's true, yeah, segregation, packaging.
Or packaging requirements.
Yeah, you're right.
So
You are
there's
right.
that language, but that's a good question about things like batteries.
Now, I do
wonder-
have, I gotta say, I don't think Waste Management has ever given me,
I was just gonna ask you, do we have a contract, we have a set of regs or whatever from, a copy from them describing?
yeah, and I'm just thinking, how does my individual contract work with them? So I can go on their website and see, what are the things that I can and can't
Okay,
put in my trash, but I don't believe I've ever been given a separate container that I would put,
And
you know,
any
like
recyclables
batteries
that could-
or, it's single stream, so I put everything in
Yeah.
the recycle bin. Everything that I can recycle goes in that recycle bin, all mixed in together.
Some of which they probably really don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
Hmm.
Huh. So,
So I've already forgotten the question I asked.
No, the
About
question,
six-
your
No,
question was a
no,
good
it
one.
was-
It
it
was
was
whether,
But I truly did forget it.
the difference between required
Yeah,
and option.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So, the first, in 4.4, it says serving residential, municipal,
Yeah.
commercial, yeah.
And Pam explained
Customers
that,
with
so that
option.
while I understand the
Yeah.
difference between that now, you
That's,
offer it and they either take you up
Or
on
they
it or
don't.
don't. But 6.1 still confuses me, what that looks like
Yeah,
in reality.
yeah,
Confuses
and you
me.
know, I think 4.5 kind of plays into this a little bit too. A couple of the ones that come after 4.4, because even though 4.5 is specifically talking about construction and demolition, but then it also gets into the 310 CMI 19 recyclable materials, and that you can't throw those in a, construction and demolition dumpster.
Right, and some of those are the things that are in the waistband, like wallboard,
Yes.
asphalt. and-
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Then 4.6, the permittee has to give the customer a list of acceptable solid waste types and recyclable materials. Yeah, and here's the bundling thing, so it's a little bit repetitive, but.
mhm.
That is, I mean, it's a good point that you're making, and I think the reality of, when we enacted this regulation was that we have to put the requirements on the trash haulers to do the right thing and to offer recycling. We don't really have the resources. I mean, this is a Massachusetts regulation. You can't put these recyclable
The waistband
materials.
things, yeah.
So you're actually in trouble if you're doing that. You're in trouble with the state, not with the Board of Health necessarily, because as a board, we don't really have the resources to do like some of the things that I was noticing in on the second page of Irene's, like going around and
Oh, right, well,
yeah,
some
doing
of that is just
enforcement
for curbside.
yeah,
So that, and
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
we are not curbside,
Yeah.
totally understand
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah, she sent more information than she really needed to.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of philosophy though, that we were really concerned that if we put a lot of requirements, this is a regulation for the haulers. It's not a regulation that tells a resident
Right.
what they have to do. The state covers that with this regulation. So that would actually be, and I'm not saying we can't or shouldn't do it, but that would be another step to look at, is whether we want to, expand into that area of doing a regulation that would affect residents rather than just trash haulers.
Well, just promoting the waistband to residents
Yeah,
is a good thing to do. And every now and then on Facebook, I pick out one piece of it and throw some information onto Facebook.
yeah.
Then some people respond and saying, but I'm already paying $400 a year or whatever for waste management.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay an additional amount to bring my leaves to the transfer station.
Yeah.
So there are certainly economic, financial questions involved with with asking people to adhere
Yeah,
to,
yeah, I know.
to
I
the
know.
laws of the
Yeah.
state.
Well, we found
Yeah.
too, and we discussed this, Pam, that a lot of people new to town didn't even realize that we had a transfer station and they could use it, so that we needed to get more information out that way. I mean, if you move onto a street and you see 3 or 4 of your neighbors and a couple have Shaw's and somebody else has Republic, you just think, oh, those 2 people must be working for the town. And then they find out later on that somebody else says, well, I've got to go to the transfer station. What do you mean? Because they
Yeah.
don't know anything. So we need to do a better job of letting people know what's up there and the services that they have up there.
There's a plan afoot, I don't know if it'll go anywhere, to get a postcard in the water and sewer bill the next time it comes out. Carly and I and Mark have been talking about that, and some of the Board of Selectmen think that would be a good idea also. That will reach the people that
Yep.
get those
Yeah,
bills. And I know that's most of the people that own, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so it would be something.
It's hard because we get bills all at different times from
Yeah.
well, whatever
I know.
neighborhood you live in.
For water and sewer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, at least,
Yeah, but it would hit everybody
At some point.
at some
Yeah.
point.
yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I thought they all came out at the same
No.
time. But still,
The other thing we could do, it occurs to me, is, kind of, if we did a joint effort, Board of Health and NPPW, to have at town meeting, just, they have all the papers that you can pick up on the table. If we just did a one-page, hey, there's a transfer station, this is what it does, this is how you get a permit. There are also, these are the trash haulers that are permitted for the town of Ayer. So if you want a private service,
Yeah.
these are the people who have permits. A reminder, these are the things that, not according to the Board of Health or the DPW, but according to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
yeah.
are not permitted to go
Yeah.
in your trash. They have to be recycled.
Are you using the town webpage at all? Have you used it a lot?
I
or-
use, if I think the information rises to the importance of being on the town webpage, I certainly ask Cindy to put stuff
Okay.
up there.
Yeah,
I mainly rely on Facebook,
yeah,
but, and the town, the e-list that is not very comprehensive.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's no reason why I can't push more stuff to Cindy. She's very good about
yeah.
posting stuff.
I would definitely, 'cause that's where, I see a lot of stuff like,
Yeah.
the street closings, which board is meeting,
Yeah.
constantly upgrading with
And
things
if we
like
did a
that.
handout like
Yeah,
that for
and-
town
and
meeting,
put
then
the
we could
handout
also
on
put it,
Yeah, on the social media, on
Yeah.
that page. Yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, I have to leave. I'd like to hear more about what you think about about how to get the residents who are using the private haulers to increase the waste ban items that are supposed to be recycled.
Okay.
So that's that 6.1 bullet.
I like the fact that you've asked the question, because it really makes me stop and think. Some of the things that, I throw, I don't know if I've ever really had occasion to throw some of these things in my recycling, but is there anything here really that has to be in some kind of separate container?
Yeah.
I don't know. I throw regular batteries just loose in my, because the stuff that goes into the recycling, if for waste management anyway, you don't put it in bags. You just Put it all in the bin.
Right,
Because then they
yeah.
dump it all out on the
Right.
conveyor line.
Yeah.
So I throw batteries loose in there.
Have you, but it
Those
is-
shouldn't go in the recycling.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. But those-
Neither kind, neither the alkaline
or the
nor
lithium,
the
yeah.
Yeah, it should.
rechargeable should.
Yeah. But I mean, is
I
there,
should-
There
I'll
are other,
stop.
Yeah,
I
other
didn't know that. I'll
opportunities.
stop.
Oh,
Yeah.
is there something, and you never saw anything when you took up with them as your provider there, where they had special bags or bundle or instructions about certain things?
No, well, instructions.
Just, it was pretty generic.
When I
because
first
it's-
signed up with them, they sent me a whole packet of information. But
Yeah.
it was so long ago,
Oh,
and it
nobody
predates
needs- yeah.
this.
Yeah,
yeah.
But then if I am not sure about something, I do go on there, because every once in a while I'm wondering, can I throw that in the trash or not? And
Yeah.
I'll go on their website. So I think that's how most of them keep the information updated, is rather than sending it to customers. Because I don't even process a bill with them. It just,
Yeah.
every
It's
3
all
months
on-
comes out of my
online,
bank account.
yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, thanks
No,
for
thank you for-
giving me time. I didn't know this was going to be discussed, or I would have tried to provide you some stuff ahead of time. I would be happy to
Yeah.
be involved in any kind of PR efforts that you could all think might be meaningful to think through more of this stuff as well, to work more with the haulers themselves to make sure either their websites or the stuff that they send out, as is required by the regulations,
Yeah.
is accurate and current and up to date and clear. So,
Yeah. More descriptive for sure, because
Yeah.
especially with things like that, with the batteries. No, Jane?
Through the chairman to Lori, we have a list of the trash haulers online.
I saw
Did you
that.
See that?
Mhm.
Okay.
there's
so
a lot of them.
There's 12.
Yeah.
There's
I know,
12.
who
Yeah.
knew? 12, right?
Yeah, and there's probably people in town that we don't know about, but those are the ones that I tracked down.
Okay.
The other thing, and I just wanted to mention this, it's not uncommon for me to get calls from new residents saying, nobody's come to pick up my trash. And it's been sitting out there for weeks.
See, I told you, they don't
It's
know.
funny,
They're
isn't
just
it?
not
It's like-
stopping.
Yeah.
And I see the trucks.
Oh.
So then I break it to them gently and I say,
Yeah.
well, we have a transfer station.
Welcome to the
here.
booties.
Yeah. And we don't have town trash pickup.
Right.
Yeah.
So, this comes as a revelation.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's some way, I mean, there has to be a whole bunch of things that somebody coming into Ayer needs a orientation, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to,
Like welcome
Welcome
wagon.
wagon. Just
Yeah.
welcome
do they
Exactly.
still have welcome wagon?
No.
You know,
I don't believe
that
so.
idea, though, is something that, I'm also with the Friends Board at the library,
Uh-huh.
and that idea is something that's the Mass Friends of Friends, or whatever they're called, is talking about. They're libraries that have taken the lead on that idea.
Uh-huh.
And one way or another, I think because of, who is it, the assessor's office that has to know about new,
Taxes.
Yep.
new residents coming in.
Census,
Yeah.
yep.
The library has, through working with town offices, put together a basket or a list of new to Ayer, new to Newton, new to Shirley, whatever. Well, here's
Oh.
some cool
So
stuff.
does Ayer do that?
No, we don't.
No.
Oh,
I have mentioned that a couple of times. I don't know who that needs to be mentioned to so that it would get traction and move ahead.
What's the other the cultural arts?
The Cultural Council?
Yeah, the cultural council. I mean, if you were going to put together a basket of, like the transfer station, certain restaurants, our library, our park, I wonder if it would be something they would be interested in conjunction with
I don't,
Other
it
boards
doesn't sound like
No.
something the cultural council
No.
would do.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that cultural, but I'm trying to.
I know years
Who
ago,
else?
they used to have people that kind of volunteered and
Yeah.
did things, but I think,
Yeah.
I don't know if any other towns do, Laurie, but again, people don't know. If they're reasonably new here, they don't even know what services we have,
Right.
or, you know, what is up at the transfer station, for example. You know,
Yeah.
about the swap shed, about things
You
you
know,
can go up there and get. And I took somebody up there one day and she said, oh my gosh, I could pick up some toys in the swap shed for
Yeah.
little children.
Yeah.
And then when they outgrow them, you bring them back and somebody else takes them.
Yeah.
Although I have seen
Yeah.
questions like that on the Ayer community, on that,
Mm-hmm.
it's like recommendations
Facebook.
for, I just moved to Ayer
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
daycare,
Yeah.
electricians, things like that.
Yeah.
That's on that community webpage.
I
I've
try to
seen.
answer any of those that are relevant to recycling or to the transfer
Yeah.
station. People are very intrigued with the idea that they can now bring their food waste.
Oh,
To the
Yes, I
transfer
saw
station.
that.
first person
Yeah,
there
I
to
saw
use it.
that.
Look at you.
Really?
Oh, yes, I was. I'm always
Yeah,
using
so-
that, yeah.
Wow.
Anything to reduce.
That is very
the-
popular there.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Okay, now I'm
All
really
right.
gonna be late.
Well, we
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
You
so
all know
much.
how to get in touch with me.
Yes.
so,
Absolutely.
I'm happy
Yeah.
to, I'm happy to help.
Yep, and stay in touch with us too, if you,
Yep.
I'm glad you came.
Jane?
and-
Yes.
Yep,
Yes,
Got it.
definitely.
absolutely.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I like that idea of a new to
I do
air.
too.
Here's some-
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
thinking, who should we,
Who the heck
Well,
would that fall under?
Was Welcome Wagon, was it a company? Was
No,
it a-
no.
No, I think it
was.
was like one of those like community chest or one of
But
those
you know,
things.
I think there's a real need for
I
that.
wonder if some
Because it used
organization,
to be that
like,
people called on you when you came into town.
yeah, yeah,
Knocked
yeah.
on your
yeah.
door, and they brought a basket, and they brought all kinds of
Well,
goodies.
that's when there was a housewife that was going to be home. So
Yeah.
now, what,
But I
what
wonder
would
if
you
that's
do?
something that we need to
Thanks, Lori.
re-envision.
Oh, I-
Revision.
I wonder if somebody like Rotary would be
I don't
interested.
know.
you know what,
in
that's a
something
good,
like that.
that's a good thought, because those are the neighborhood clubs where you have more than one
Right.
town, and maybe they do it this way in their town, or they could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Groton used to have newcomers, and Newcomers Club. It was actually
Really?
a club. And I belonged for several years, and I met all my friends at Newcomers.
That's
And-
pretty cool.
And it was, we all came to Groton at about the same time, and, you know, it was a going thing. I don't know if they still have it or not, but it was a really, really worthwhile
I wonder where to start with that.
organization, and they did a lot of that stuff.
Some good food for thought.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's sleep on that one. And
Yeah.
because
Okay.
maybe it's,
it's not really Board of Health business,
No, it's
but
not.
but
it's,
it's
Yeah.
you know,
really-
it's
really something that builds community.
exactly, that you took the words
Because-
out of my mouth.
Because
Yeah.
one of the things that happens is people are new to town, they move into town,
Mhm.
and they don't know anybody or anything. So
Yeah.
instead of reaching out to the people here, they tend to maintain their old
ties, yeah.
or not have any ties.
I wonder if Alan would have any ideas on that.
I don't know.
I don't
I
think
was
so.
wondering about him too.
Because I
Yeah.
know his title is Economic Development, but he has a lot of little
Yeah.
Yeah,
nuances to
Well,
other,
and
you know,
he's
different-
interested in too in like promoting things
That's
that
right,
are
yeah.
cool about air.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, some of that could fall into it
marketing
too.
sense.
but the
Yeah,
other
that
thing
kind of
is
Yeah.
that it would also be could be a vehicle for getting people involved in municipal
Yes.
boards and things. Because there's a whole lot of volunteer opportunities that are going unmanned
Yes. I know.
or unpeopled, or they just aren't even thought of.
You're right.
That people might enjoy putting their shoulder to the wheel, and
Yeah.
you know, and it would enhance our sense of community greatly, I think.
Good discussion.
Yeah.
Good point.
All right,
So,
So we're going to go back to Pam.
Well, I'll tell you what, we don't have to believe this tonight.
No, that's
thank
fine,
you.
that's
Red
fine.
lines.
But I'm glad we played with the agenda a little bit because I felt bad that Lori was sitting there the whole
I'm just
time.
gonna hand these
Okay.
out. We can put this on the agenda again for next week.
Okay.
So you'll see all of my changes here are in red, and all I've really tried to do, the things that are highlighted are things that I just have a question about.
Did you speak to Bridget?
No, I haven't spoken to Bridget since the last meeting. So this was just an attempt to try to get this special permit and kind of take us away
Get
from
it.
from the zoning thing.
Yep.
Okay, so the brief time that I did speak to her, which was probably several weeks ago when I told her we were doing all this, and I said one of the ones that Pam is looking at, I said, we were a special permit,
Yeah.
but I said, I don't want to lose anything to do with our regulations. I don't
Right.
care what the state
Yeah.
says. And she said pretty much what we had discussed here, just take out the language that
Yeah.
says the
Yeah.
special permit and keep the other stuff because we
Yeah.
are a health board.
That's exactly, the conversations that I have had with her have been along those lines, that she thinks it's important for us to maintain our own
Absolutely.
health
Yes.
regulations. So you can look at this at your leisure. We can go through it in 2 weeks if we have time. I mean, I think the stuff with Joan is probably, maybe a higher priority so that we can keep that
Right.
moving.
Get that.
So,
Yep.
we can enact some things before the outdoor season comes. So this could be just something that you kind of look at. There's actually a section here where I need to add, there are a couple of things I need to check on. I have something here where, add criminal option from animal reg section 10, so in the enforcement. So I'll do that
Okay.
between now and next time, and I'll bring another red line with just a few more changes for that stuff, so.
Pam, I really appreciate this. It's a
Yeah,
lot-
it's not,
lot of work.
it's no problem. I think I figured out a way to do it, and it's well, here's something that actually we could think about, is I'm just calling it a Board of Health permit. We could call it, it used to be a special permit, I don't know, maybe it could be an Board of Health aquifer protection permit, or aquifer permit, we could think of something
Yeah,
we want
because
to
you
call
need to get
this.
it.
Yeah.
You're in
Yeah.
a zone 2.
Yeah, and it kind of helps if
And
this
we
has a
look at this-
name,
yes.
it's
Yes.
a what permit, it's a zoning permit, it's a this,
No, it's
Yeah.
it's
No,
a
I mean,
health
the
district
permits
regulation.
They
permit.
have titles.
names, they
Right.
have titles,
Yes.
so.
Correct.
That's one thing that we could think about, is what,
Okay.
if we want to call this. One thing I did almost put in here was an APD, a Board of Health APD permit, Aquifer
That's
Protection
good.
District permit.
That's great.
Which I'm sure we'll all shorten to probably just aquifer or something. But, yeah, we can think about that, and I'll make the edits for that, so.
All right.
Something to read over the next couple of weeks.
And the stuff that's highlighted in yellow is,
Yeah, the stuff highlighted in
think
yellow
about.
were just things that I wanted to check on, like, I know that Mike Wetzel has told me before that this October 1999 map is outdated, but I looked in the zoning bylaw and they kept this same one. So I'm
Oh.
kind of thinking that we keep it to just be copacetic with that.
They need to know that because they need to change that citation.
They probably should, although it does go on to say, this map, as it may be amended from time to time. But it does seem like, why reference something 20 years old if you're gonna update a regulation and it has been amended, so we could go either way.
okay.
couple of things I'm not sure about here. The hazardous materials coordinator. I don't even know who that is.
Where's that? Which page?
That's on page 7.
Hazardous?
Yeah, so we talk about
Material.
this as though this is some position that we should all know who it is. So if you're
Huh.
gonna store hazardous materials, filed with the hazardous materials coordinator.
Would that be somebody in the fire department?
Well, I
Fire
would
or
have
building?
thought so, but then it goes on to say fire chief. So I thought maybe I would ask, I don't know, either Mark or maybe Charlie or somebody.
Charlie, yeah. I'm sure that he,
I'd ask, why don't you just go to the source and
Bobby?
ask the fire chief
that's Bobby?
instead of asking everybody else?
Well, because the fire chief is listed here as a separate person.
Oh,
I think it's
oh, he is,
just,
yeah, it says
Yeah, the
filed with hazardous materials coordinator,
fire chief, and board of health. So it's not him, it's
I've never heard.
somebody else.
No.
And who is this
well, you
person?
know what? I think it's a problem of faulty punctuation.
Oh, so you think,
The hazardous materials coordinator is Robert Pedrazi, who is also the fire chief.
Mhm.
I think that it's just, people do this all the time. This is a very common, it's called a comma fault.
oh, I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I suspect.
yeah.
Yep,
And that's, I just, when I read that, it's so common, I just said, oh,
it's
that's.
the way it's, yeah, the way you
Okay,
read it, the way you
okay.
read it, yeah.
So we may not need to change anything there.
But
if-
the punctuation needs to be clarified. It's a poorly punctuated.
Okay.
Okay, no, that makes sense, Jane.
And then I think the remaining two the remaining couple of highlighted areas all had to do with, I'm not really sure that now if this is only our regulation, do we need to be sending copies to the planning board, the conservation committee, the town engineer, the DPW? I don't think so. I think they all come under the zoning permit, so I think that's a no. And then on page 9, this whole thing about residential A1 not served by municipal, this sounds to me like zoning.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like our,
Right. I think that's, it's probably true that it is something that's necessary, but I think that would get handled at the zoning.
Where are you now?
page
Um,
9,
Yeah, kind of towards the bottom of page 9, there's a big
D.
chunk of highlighted.
under special
Hang on.
requirements, D,
Okay.
talks about the sewage and zone 2 area particularly.
And what is it that you think needs to come out?
I think the highlighted part might
It sounds more like a
need to come out,
zoning.
because that sounds more like something that would be resolved through zoning than for us. Because it then goes on to say, that, you know, the ZBA can grant a special permit within Zone 2 for the particular areas listed in Article 5, Section 1, Town of Your zoning bylaw. It's, so that it's like stuff
We gotta
that kinda
get
doesn't apply to
anything
us.
out of
Yeah.
that says zoning and just
Yes.
keep our
I think this whole
health district regs and the reason for it.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing needs to go. The other thing I've done is I kind of took a clue from the existing title of this, which was Aquifer Protection District Health, and health was in italics. So I carried that through the whole document to make it clear that these are the Aquifer Protection District health regulations.
Yes.
And then the only other highlighted thing here is where it talks about enforcement and it says the building inspector. I don't think the building inspector is an option for us for enforcement on a health reg.
No,
Okay.
it's the
So
Board
that
of Health.
needs- Okay, that'll come out. I'll take that out. And then this other thing, add the criminal option. This is just language that's coming right out of the animal bylaw that we have. So it talks about, I gotta figure out how to put these two paragraphs here together, that they can either do non-criminal disposition, or they can pursue it, on a criminal. They have both options, so it's some
Okay.
just kind of legal blah, 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 that I think needs to go in here. And then I think that's about it.
No, it looks, I think it looks good, Pam.
Okay.
Through the
Yes,
chairman to
Jane.
the board, it's just coming up and I may be really missing something here, but what is, I know this is to protect the aquifer,
Yes.
but I'm thinking in terms of, I'm a developer. I'm coming to the town. I want to develop a piece of property. How does this fit in with the things I need to do in order to, do I come to the Board of Health first? Do I have to get a pass card from the Board of Health before I can approach the, whoever is the SPGA for granting the permit? Do I need to pass through the Board of Health before the gate opens for the rest? Or where are we in the process of, in terms of the
I was
the
struggling.
person.
I was struggling with that too, and I thought, well, we can't really tell planning or ZBA that they have to come before or after us. So what I did put in here under the scope of authority,
Yeah.
it's the redlining at the very
Yeah.
end. I just made it clear that this regulation is in addition to
Okay.
anything that the planning board or the ZBA
Mhm.
does. So the property owner, the developer, just needs to know that you need a permit from us and you need a permit from planning,
And there is no,
ZBA,
there is no
whatever.
order.
It's not
This is
necessarily
in
an
addition
order.
to.
I
right?
think in the execution of it, it would be nice if we could, kind of
But
run
how
these in
can
parallel.
Say somebody comes before us, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, I don't know, but we give them the green light. Say we give them the red light, and they say, we don't like what you said. We're going to whoever the SPGA is. And the SPGA says, oh, this is fine, this meets all of our requirements.
No, it has nothing,
Can't do it.
they can't do it.
That doesn't supersede this.
They cannot supersede a
Right.
regulation
A health
of it.
regulation.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
So-
They have to comply with it.
So then what is the difference between being a SPGA grantor or not? I mean, what is the difference between this? How is this not how are we not assuming the role of an SPGA even if we're not calling ourselves that? That-
Well, 'cause
We're not,
it's-
we're enforcing
Yeah, we're-
a health regulation. We're a
Right.
board of health.
Right, right.
Okay.
So if they were to change the zoning bylaw tomorrow
Mhm.
to say, you can do anything you want in the aquifer district, our regulation still stands.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
So-
do we issue some kind of an affidavit then, after they come to us? Do we,
No, we're gonna issue a permit.
Same
They're
as-
gonna get a
As we
permit.
were going to do with what was proposed at 41 East
Right,
Main.
right.
okay,
So that's what I was saying, we need to maybe come up with
It's-
some name for it. So it's like a Board of Health Aquifer.
so
Permit.
if we're
Instead of
not an
SPGA.
SPGA
Yeah.
person, how can we issue any kind of affidavit like that and not be in violation of, we're not the SPGA granting?
Because we
authority?
have nothing
We have
to
nothing
do
to
with the
do with
bylaw.
that.
We're just granting a permit under our regulation.
Okay,
So we have things that are prohibited under this, so it's the same as with zoning. There are things, absolutely, you can't do these things in the aquifer. There's this other group of things that, sure, go to town, do it. Then there are these like, yeah, you can do it if you have a permit. So that's the permit that we're granting. It's not special permit under zoning. It's a permit under this regulation.
Okay, because I'm just curious, first off, from the standpoint of a developer or the town, you know, one of the things that is problematic to developers.
Yeah, I know.
Are the inconsistencies.
Yep.
And all the hoops that need to be jumped through. And it just seems like this is another, you know, before we were the SBGA granting authority. So they came before us and we gave them a permit and it, whatever.
Yeah,
Now they have to go before whomever is
Yeah.
SBGA.
yep.
And they have to come through us. So we're introducing a new level of complexity to the process. And I'm just wondering if the trade-off is a higher standard overall, or if we're just creating a situation where we're setting up kind of a situation where we're going to be a litigious and contentious corner as far as the developers go.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, now that's.
that is a concern. That is a concern.
Was not that a bylaw when it was developed? The
Which?
original one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
We're not, a bylaw can be only changed at town meeting. So all you have to do, and you can't change, if you want to change 2 sentences in a bylaw, you got to go to town meeting, which generally in most towns is the annual town meeting. And this came up recently in one of our surrounding towns with regards to an issue.
Yeah.
And so you want that passed, you get your bunch of friends to go to that town meeting. And all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's passed.
Yeah, I know.
That happens.
Regulations are good because the proper board can, with the proper public hearing, can
Yeah.
change their regulations at any time. I think we
That's
don't
a good
need to
point.
have any more discussion on this tonight, and let's get through the rest of the meeting. And I'd like to get out of here sometime in this
Well,
decade.
this won't be the last discussion we have about this regulation.
Oh, I'm sure
so,
it won't.
Yeah, I'm sure
But-
but you raised some interesting points and we
Yes.
should think about how we want to implement this.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like you
it's
said,
funny
practice.
though, that because the discussions we've had recently, and we've had people that have come for permits, and nobody ever said anything to us about, oh, you have a special
Yep.
permit granting.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just came because they knew we had health district regulations, and that's what they came from. We had somebody else too, down around your area. They were doing a house, and I don't even know if they.
It was you.
Did
You
it.
were
Yeah,
doing
I've
that.
No,
come.
not
Yeah.
even, no. I said someone else down in there. But people have come to
Yeah,
us for
oh,
2 or 3.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it was a deck or a porch or something on Maple Street maybe?
No,
or,
no, it was-
Or Third, there was a big project on 4th Street.
But we've had people come and there's
Yeah.
been no question, and they knew it was a health district regulation. We're protecting our
Well,
zone 2, and
They actually were coming because of, I think, not so much us, but also because we were called out in the zoning bylaw as the special permit granting authority.
no, that
So-
isn't the one I'm thinking of.
But
But anyway.
either way, they had to,
Well-
even zoning would have said, you, under the old bylaw, you have to go to Board of Health. So now we are gonna have to make it known, and we are gonna have to work with zoning and planning so that they know that when permits come before them, that they need to either let the applicant know or let us know that there's a permit from us that needs to be
And
granted
don't
too.
forget, there's that paper that goes around that comes
The
out
transmittal
of, that
forms.
Yeah.
Carly sends
Yeah.
out. So, okay, let's like I said, is there anything else we need for tonight?
All right. Shova. There's just inspection reports from the high school, from Bridget. Must wear hats, hair nets, dishwasher temperature. Some things, I can't read her writing. So.
I know, sometimes
Yeah,
it is
she's
hard.
fast. Junior, senior high school, clean and well maintained. Hilltop, these are all school.
Yeah.
Nothing
Nothing-
glaring. It was just the
Nothing serious.
inspection.
This is
Yeah.
kind of routine stuff.
Very routine.
Okay.
Page Hilltop, very routine. Verona, just a re-inspection in 6 months. Some minor violations. Parthenon, must be the time of year we do all these, huh? Apple Valley, dishwasher temperature, very routine stuff. Carlin's, dishwasher, gloves, that kind of stuff. What's this? Pine Knoll Mobile Home Site. Oh, 11 Groton School granted a license for overnight camps or cabin motel trailer coach parks.
If you happen to converse with her or email or anything, will you find out about that donut place that
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
keeps
everybody
asking
keeps
us, when
asking
is it
about
gonna
that.
open? I haven't heard
So
anything.
I'm sure she would have to inspect.
What's that place?
You know what Sam's Donut used to be?
210 West
Yeah.
Main Street.
It's gonna be again.
You're kidding?
No, no. They
Oh
came
my
before the Board of Selectmen, and they
Yeah.
were supposedly working with Bridget. I think the fire chief had been in to check everything, and
Yeah.
she's going to make them there on site, so
Ah, that would be
I was waiting to
fantastic.
hear, and everybody, periodically people say, Mary, has that donut place opened yet? No, it hasn't. It hasn't. Yeah, I thought she said they lived in town and they have 3 children and she was going to be making them there. And
Everybody loves
yeah,
donuts.
she promised the Board of Selectmen she'd bring treats down when they opened, so, yes.
Well, this
Bring some to
sounds
Board of
good.
Health, too.
Yeah, for our treats, yeah.
We need to get
So
on the
anyway,
list.
Yeah.
you know,
And in the mail, there was just the scanned page for the budget report, general fund, Board of Health, and then something from the mosquito control project dated January 29th, that the budget notification shows their preliminary proposed budget amount increase and estimated balance. We all know about that come June, July,
Yeah.
it'll be spring again.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, that's it for mail. So, action items for the next meeting would be more discussion on
well, aren't we going to hear from Joan?
Joan and the
She's
regs.
not coming the next meeting.
No,
No,
but she's
Coming
going
until
to,
March.
She will
she's
email.
going to email us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Now, are we supposed, does she want us to get out that inquiry? Remember when she was talking about, she said you don't have to have a public hearing?
Oh,
What
but
did she
you.
call that?
Comment.
Comment, yeah.
Public comment.
Public comment.
Period.
Period.
Well,
I thought she said that she wanted us to send that, to get that notice out. And then, that's why she said, technically, you do not have to have a public hearing if you have a public comment period. You've given everybody a
but we
chance.
can't do a notice until we know when the draft that we all like is gonna be available.
Right, we have to, yeah,
So we
wait
can't.
till she gets back to
Yeah,
us with her
that has to happen
research.
first. But what she was shooting for was that last meeting in March to be the, kind of approval.
Mhm.
But if we again, we're getting tight on that's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I know.
Because if she says we need to have it in the paper for a week, a public comment period, then we're getting very tight. We're in the midst
Yeah.
of February now.
Yeah, I know.
If we want to get
She-
this done, and she wants us to get it done.
I
And
thought
she's
she
going to
said-
be away in
Yeah.
March.
I know, but if anything happens, given the number of places that she still has to do, if anything slips in the schedule, you know,
No, I'm
we can't
just-
post anything.
I'm just talking about the ability of us to get this finished this time. You know, if we don't do it before June, we're never going to get it done
I
until the
was,
fall.
we will have it
Yeah.
by May. I was, the way that, when Joan was talking about the two
Yeah.
dates, and she was talking beginning of May.
If
that
we
would
wrap
have
up
our
the
stuff
input.
together.
And we, you know, vote to approve it on May 25th, then we can make the effective date May 1st. If not, if, you know, this runs into April, then it'll have a June 1st effective date. It's like the end of the world.
I'm just thinking about the time frame and trying to get everything done because we have town meeting, elections,
know.
that kind of stuff.
No, I know, we've got to stay on top of it, but.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
they're
it's
going to
kind of
have
the ball's
us.
in her court at
They're,
this point.
they're trying to have a special town meeting in June
Yeah,
also
I know,
too. So
I know. Busy times in here.
Okay. So, these are our animal regs that were sent over, that Bridget had looked at,
Yeah, and those
that we
are
signed.
all.
we did all
Oh, we
that.
did
yeah.
that already.
set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
this was
all
the-
done.
Oh,
This was the
yeah.
other copy, and it also has the old. Do I keep this together? Does
Where
this
did
stay
I
as,
even give you this? That's,
there's the old page with
oh,
the,
you know what that was? That was attached to the minutes.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
Oh,
just,
that goes with the minutes?
minutes,
Okay,
that's all
okay,
that is.
got it.
and that's just, put the minutes on top of that, and I
Okay.
just give that to the clerk and she stamps
But
it
my
in.
question is, in the page before the page that we signed, there's the old page where you guys, the last board members.
Right?
Yeah.
Do we take that out? Does that
No.
stay?
No,
Always stay
no,
together?
it always stays.
No,
there.
I'm just
No.
asking. I don't
No,
know
no.
how things are.
Well, you never
recorded.
you never throw out the old
Oh,
one.
I wouldn't
We've got
throw it
a
out,
new
Mary.
one.
I just didn't
Yeah.
know if it would be, that signature page would be replaced with this one.
No, that's
You always
just
keep
an
them together.
addition to
Yeah,
that.
That's
it
my
should be
question.
back,
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, on that note, we are going to have more discussion with Joan, and we are also going to finish discussing the aquifer.
Yeah.
So far as, I know that's all we have for action items, unless anybody else has something else to add for next time.
What are we doing about, the trash haulers thing, anything?
I don't think at this point we need to do anything.
I don't think so either.
So do you wanna sign the thing that they've been reviewed, or do we wanna review them another time, or what?
I don't really think there's anything wrong with it right now.
Yeah, I mean, we could give, Laurie didn't asking us to do anything
Yeah.
No.
different with
Well,
them, so.
did I put that form in there? I've got a form to sign, because if we're fine and we're not gonna do them, we could sign the form.
With the trash hauler?
Yeah, that just says it's been
Oh, I see.
reviewed.
Yes, I see right
reviewed
here.
and,
Because they have been reviewed.
Did we get anything from Bridget on the outdoor wood burning boil? I'm looking through my
No.
list here that you gave us, you
Yeah,
know, that
no.
we're
No, she
working on.
hasn't gotten back on any of
No, that, floor drains,
No.
I
Well-
think there's a couple we can pick off that,
I think the when I told her, I said, you look at those outdoor ones, because I think ours were very strict. In which case I'd want to keep them.
Here, this is the,
I was looking, is that what you want?
did you get this?
No. Here. That's to sign?
Yeah.
So this is in progress, the
Annual fee.
prohibiting smoking, so that. And Title V would be from Bridget, so.
Does this get filled? There's an annual fee,
Yeah, what's our fee right now?
For trash haulers,
Yeah.
it's $200.
$200. Yeah, I would keep that.
review date and amended date, one and the same
So review is
Review
gonna
date.
be today.
today.
Yeah,
Today's the 11th.
but it's not really being amended, it's,
No.
No,
So leave that.
it's just, we reviewed it, we haven't had any problems with it.
yeah.
You know what I always say, let's not look for something, if it's not broken, let's not fix it.
So we just leave this one blank, right, Jane?
Yeah.
Amended date.
Yeah.
Yeah, just review date.
And then do you do one of those things that goes with it that says reviewed, no changes? Should we
I
have
just
some,
filed
or
this
what?
with a thing that it's been reviewed
Okay.
and with no changes. I can put in amended date, say no amendments, just no
No, I
amendments.
think no changes sounds fine.
Well, no changes or whatever.
Yeah, because we kind of had this format that we were using before, where we tracked everything, reviewed with no changes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bond, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. I guess
Yeah.
I would do that one again. maybe.
Any, no bills this month?
Mm-mm.
Okay, all right, I just want to get my notes.
Mary, you'll be happy to know that Neshoba Associated Boards of Health sent over the budget figures, and I sent them off to Lisa.
Oh, I knew.
And, you know, that I'd already sent yours, but I said, now it's official.
And let me guess, it didn't go down.
No.
Nothing
course
ever
not.
does.
All right. Do we have anything else?
But Mary was on the button for
Yeah.
the figures. See, that's what I was trying to convey.
All right.
The harbinger of
Good old
things
on the
to come.
gun.
Yeah.
Mary.
He said,
Now on top of
I
this
want to
stuff.
talk to you before the executive meeting in March. I've got a project for you. I said, as long as it's legal, I'm okay. So we'll see what it is. All
Oh
right.
my gosh.
Well, then if there's nothing else, I think we're all set for our next meeting in 2 weeks. I think there's a little thing out, I don't know if you get anything from the American Heart Association. I've got my little sticker, you're supposed to wear it on Valentine's Day to show that you are taking care of your heart.
Okay.
Well,
I
those
don't know if I should wear mine then. I'm probably not doing everything I could.
All right.
All right,
right.
then, I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.